The United States labor and income system is built on rules that most workers never study. Yet those rules quietly shape lifetime earnings. Income is not determined by effort or sincerity. It is determined by how labor fits into economic demand, how easily it can be replaced, and how directly it connects to revenue creation. When people misunderstand this, they make career decisions based on emotion instead of structure. The system rewards roles that reduce uncertainty for businesses, protect margins, and scale output. Workers who understand these mechanics can position themselves better, even without elite backgrounds. This is not about shortcuts. It is about understanding how value moves. Labor becomes income only after passing through institutional filters, contracts, classifications, and negotiation points that most people ignore until it is too late. Labor in the United States is priced through markets, not morals. A job pays what the market tolerates, not what feels fair. Market price depends on supply, demand, training time, regulatory barriers, and switching costs for employers. If replacing a worker is easy, wages stay flat. If replacing a worker risks disruption, wages rise. This is why system designers earn more than system operators. Income grows where mistakes are expensive. Many workers focus on working harder instead of becoming harder to replace. The system does not notice effort unless it reduces risk or increases output. This is why some roles see rapid raises while others remain stagnant despite dedication. Most people enter the system as wage workers, trading time for money. This exchange feels stable, but it creates an invisible ceiling. Time is finite and controlled by schedules, policies, and fatigue. Employers buy blocks of availability, not long-term outcomes. Because of this, wage income grows slowly unless the role itself changes. Overtime does not solve this because it increases exhaustion faster than income. The system prefers wage labor because it is predictable and transferable. For workers, it creates reliability, but also dependency. Income stops when time stops. This link becomes dangerous when expenses are fixed and income is fragile. Payroll structures further shape behavior. Taxes are removed before income is received, which changes how workers perceive earnings. Gross pay feels theoretical, while net pay feels real. This gap affects negotiation confidence. Many workers accept lower raises because they focus on take-home changes instead of total compensation. Employers understand this psychology and design offers accordingly. Benefits and adjustments are often structured to appear generous while controlling costs. Without understanding payroll mechanics, workers underestimate their own value and overestimate job security, which weakens their bargaining position. Job classification is another major lever. Hourly workers sell measured time. Salaried workers sell responsibility and availability. Contract workers sell outcomes. Each category shifts risk differently. Hourly roles limit unpaid labor but cap growth. Salaried roles remove hourly limits but often include hidden expectations. Contract roles offer flexibility but demand self-management. Companies classify roles strategically to control costs and obligations. Workers who do not understand classification trade stability for growth or growth for stability without realizing it. Income potential depends less on job title and more on how risk is allocated. Productivity measurement sits at the center of income growth. Productivity is not about effort. It is about output per unit of input. Roles that influence systems, processes, or decisions scale faster than roles that perform isolated tasks. If your work affects 10 units, income is limited. If it affects 10,000 units, income expands. This is why planning, analysis, coordination, and optimization roles often outpace manual execution roles. Workers who increase the scope of their impact increase income potential without increasing hours. The system rewards leverage, not exhaustion. Education interacts with income as a signal rather than a guarantee. Degrees reduce hiring uncertainty. They tell employers that a worker can follow rules, complete tasks, and persist through structure. This can raise starting pay, but it does not ensure long-term growth. Income progression depends on role trajectory, not credentials. Many workers stall because they believe learning ends after hiring. In reality, income grows when skills align with evolving business needs. Education matters most when it changes positioning, not when it decorates resumes. The system separates earned income from ownership-linked income. Earned income comes from labor. Ownership-linked income comes from controlling assets, processes, or outcomes. Growth rates differ dramatically. Earned income grows linearly or slowly. Ownership-linked income compounds when managed correctly. Most workers begin with only earned income, but outcomes diverge based on whether that income is later converted into control. Employers use earned income to fund expansion. Workers use it to survive. The gap determines future options. Geography influences income quietly. Labor markets are local, but benchmarks are national. High-cost regions pay more nominally, but often less in real purchasing power. Employers anchor wages to location to protect margins. Remote arrangements have shifted some leverage, but companies still try to localize pay. Workers who understand geographic arbitrage can improve outcomes, but only if skills justify flexibility. Location alone does not create leverage. Value creation does. Negotiation power shapes income more than performance reviews. Income is what you can defend, not what you deserve. Power comes from alternatives. Multiple offers, portable skills, and low personal financial pressure increase leverage. Debt and immobility reduce it. Employers budget for negotiation. Workers who avoid it subsidize those who use it. Raises are often capped by policy, not value. Changing roles resets pay to market reality faster than internal adjustments. The system rewards movement aligned with value. Taxes influence behavior and perception. Wage taxes are immediate and visible. Ownership-linked taxes are often delayed. This shapes how people plan and save. Workers who only earn wages feel constant pressure, which discourages risk and limits growth. Understanding after-tax income matters more than headline numbers. Time amplifies these effects. Early decisions compound. Skills, networks, and positioning build momentum. The system is not emotional. It responds to structure. Those who learn it early navigate it with intention rather than confusion. Understanding the interaction between labor and income in the United States is incomplete without examining how institutions reinforce behavior over time. The system does not just pay people, it trains them. Through incentives, penalties, and delayed feedback, workers learn what is rewarded and what is ignored. This training shapes career paths more strongly than advice or motivation. People follow signals. When income rises after certain actions, those actions repeat. When income stays flat, behavior either adapts or stagnates. One of the strongest institutional signals is performance evaluation. Performance reviews rarely measure total value creation. They measure compliance, consistency, and short-term output. This creates a gap between what grows income inside a company and what grows income across a career. Inside a company, stability is rewarded. Across a career, market alignment is rewarded. Workers who confuse internal praise with external value often experience income plateaus. The system favors those who understand the difference and adjust accordingly. Another interaction point is role design. Jobs are created to solve specific problems at specific cost levels. When a problem becomes routine, the role becomes standardized. Standardization reduces wages because it increases replaceability. Workers who remain in standardized roles see limited income growth regardless of effort. Income rises when a worker moves closer to unresolved problems, ambiguity, or decision-making. These areas carry risk, which companies pay to manage. The system rewards discomfort when it protects revenue. Time allocation inside roles matters more than job descriptions. Two people with the same title can experience very different income trajectories based on what they focus on daily. Workers who spend time improving systems, reducing errors, or increasing efficiency create value that scales. Workers who only execute instructions create value that resets each day. The system measures outcomes, not intentions. Over time, those who align their time with scalable outcomes gain leverage. Income progression is also shaped by switching costs. Employers invest in onboarding, training, and integration. When a worker becomes embedded in operations, replacing them becomes expensive. This creates leverage, but only if the worker understands it. Many workers become embedded without increasing visibility or influence. They become necessary, but not promotable. The system rewards those who convert embeddedness into negotiation power, rather than silent dependency. Debt plays a major role in labor-income interaction. Debt reduces flexibility. When income is committed to fixed payments, workers avoid risk. This limits role changes, negotiation, and experimentation. Employers understand this dynamic. Workers under pressure accept lower raises and fewer options. The system does not penalize debt directly, but it amplifies its effects by rewarding mobility and choice. Income growth favors those who can wait and walk away. Another structural factor is income smoothing. Employers prefer predictable payroll costs. Workers prefer predictable pay. This mutual preference suppresses volatility but also limits upside. Bonuses, commissions, and variable pay introduce volatility but align income with outcomes. Workers who understand variable structures can increase income by improving performance, rather than waiting for raises. However, this requires accurate self-assessment. The system rewards realism, not optimism. Information asymmetry is central to income outcomes. Employers often know market ranges, budgets, and alternatives. Workers often know only their current pay. This imbalance affects negotiation. Workers who research market data reduce asymmetry and improve outcomes. Silence benefits the institution, not the individual. The system does not correct this imbalance automatically. It persists unless challenged. Social capital also interacts with income. Networks provide access to information, referrals, and opportunities. This is not favoritism, it is risk reduction. Hiring through known channels lowers uncertainty. Workers who build professional relationships increase optionality. The system pays for trust because trust reduces mistakes. Income grows faster for those who understand this and invest time accordingly. Age and career stage matter differently than people expect. Early career income matters less in absolute terms and more in trajectory. Roles that teach transferable skills and expose workers to decision-making accelerate future income. Chasing early pay without growth often leads to stagnation. Later career income depends heavily on accumulated positioning. The system rewards early alignment more than late correction. The interaction between labor and income is ultimately about control. Control over time, control over skills, control over options. Workers with low control trade certainty for lower growth. Workers with higher control accept variability for higher potential. Neither path is moral or immoral. They are structural choices. Understanding them allows intentional decisions instead of reactive ones. This system does not require perfection. It requires awareness. Small adjustments in role choice, skill focus, and negotiation timing compound over years. Income is not a reflection of effort alone. It is the result of how labor is structured, priced, and leveraged within institutions. Learning these mechanics turns confusion into clarity and enables better long-term decisions.